Hello, hello. You are tuned into the Relationship Status on Life FM, where we talk all things relationship with me, Marjoan Swanepoel.
And me, Samini Glary.
So this week we are diving into a whole new chapter, which is titled, I Wish I'd Known That Toilets Are Not Self-Cleaning. Who would have known?
I'm gonna be honest. This is one of the reasons that I bought the book. I skimmed through the the index, and I looked at it and I was just like, oh, I have to know.
Have to read that chapter.
I just have to. So wonderfully worded. I must say, I give that to him. But the whole idea of this chapter is that expectations is the silent killer of a relationship. So most disappointments in relationships are not caused by cruelty, they are caused by unspoken expectations. So often the person who hurts us the most didn't actually intend to hurt us at all. Oh my goodness.
You can do it.
Lack of sleep.
It's a thing.
Lack of sleep, a headache, and an early morning is just not a great combination. So the point is, they simply didn't meet an expectation. So it's not that they tried to hurt us, they just didn't meet an expectation.
And most of the times it was an unspoken expectation.
Exactly.
It's
an expectation that we are quietly carrying. So it's not something, an expectation that is spoken aloud and someone doesn't meet. That hurts even more. But that's not what we're getting at. The point is, often we don't speak our expectations. And the problem is that we all enter relationships with different expectations. Some are obvious. I mean, we expect loyalty, kindness, honesty, those are expected, but, well, I guess not for everyone, but then there are the ones that are far more subtle. We expect our partner sometimes to know why we are upset without saying why we're upset. We expect them to feel the way that we do. We expect them to do all these little things like wake me up on my birthday with a slice of cake. Maybe he didn't even celebrate his birthday. So it's important that we voice these expectations and give the person the opportunity to meet the need that we have.
And to keep them realistic.
Yes, that too. So I think that it's very important that we voice our expectations, because if our expectations are not met, then disappointment quietly begins to grow.
Welcome back after the music break. You are tuned into Life FM 100.6 in Kosh and 98.1 in Potch, and you are listening to The Relationship Status.
So before the break, we introduced the topic, I wish I had known that toilets are not self-cleaning. And this may seem like a silly thing, but let's read why he thought that this was the case. In the home in which I grew up, the toilet was never dirty. It never crossed my mind that someone was cleaning it. To this day, I don't know whether it was my mother or my father. I never saw anyone cleaning the toilet. 2 weeks after Carolyn and I got married, I enrolled in graduate school and we lived in student housing. It was a small apartment, but it was clean and nice. About 3 weeks later, I noticed that the toilet had dark stains. By this time, I knew that toilets had to be cleaned. After all, I was in graduate school. I mentioned it to Caroline and she said, I know. I was wondering when you were going to clean it. Clean it? I said. I thought you were going to clean it. I don't know how to clean a toilet. Well then, let me teach you, she said. Can't we get something that will automatically clean it when it flushes? I asked.
That would be nice.
Those things don't work, she answered. They're a waste of money. Before marriage, I never considered the idea that I would someday be a toilet cleaner. Actually, I'd become so good at it that at the second semester, I got a part-time job with a professional toilet cleaning company.
I think you can come to my house.
Yeah. But the point of it is, that is an unspoken expectation. He expected the toilet would stay clean because someone cleaned it and he assumed it would be her. And she expected, well, if you make a mess of it, you clean it. And I think that is why it's important we discuss these things before marriage. But we'll get to that.
It sounds stupid, but
It sounds stupid, like,
it's
honestly.
all those, like we said, the unspoken expectations.
And the thing is, if you're expecting someone else to clean the toilet and you see it's messy, so you just clean it yourself, and tomorrow you just clean it yourself, you don't realize they're expecting you to do it. You're just getting more and more frustrated because you're expecting someone to do something that they're never doing. And after a while, you feel like, why am I doing this on my own?
I want to jump in here because I saw a funny, well, it was funny as in peculiar to me, because it's not something that I have
not
ever
like funny
thought
ha-ha.
of. Well, it was, but to me it was a bit funny ha-ha as well, but I mean, a lot of things are funny to me. But anyway, so what she was saying is she had a safe word. So when she went to university and she was living with, let's say, like 3 different new women or girls or whatever. She got them together and she was like, listen, we need a safe word. We want to live together in harmony without having any unnecessary conflicts and whatnot. So we're going to have a safe word. And in her case, it was snowman. So she would be like, this is just basically saying, if you say snowman before you say whatever it is that's bothering you, then it's basically saying, I just want to let you know that I love you and I respect you, but this is bothering me, so can you please fix it?
So it actually
so
just
that we
places
can
more
live
tension
in
on
harmony.
it. Realize
Yeah.
this is important.
So she would be like, snowman, please make your bed. Something like that. Or
That's actually quite cute. So
I thought, so it fits in with this.
yeah.
If there is like little frustrations, or I think then when she got married, she was like, okay, listen, we need a safe word. And I think it was penguin. And she said that she got penguined probably a lot more than she penguined, because I think she had issues with like, sy was nie baie netjies of op het of whatever nie. So she had like penguin, please put your clothes in the basket, instead of saying, I'm really frustrated because I have spoken to you about this 50 million times and you keep ignoring me. So it's more like friendly reminder, please put your clothes in the basket.
But I think it's good, like, you're really grinding my gears. This is
yes, but you don't say it that way.
Yes.
You say it in a nice way.
It's a good way to let someone know you're serious about something.
So I thought that was quite interesting. I haven't tasted the theory yet, but it sounds like it actually worked for her. So
yeah, and these things are, it can work for you perfectly, and you can give this advice to everyone, and another couple is just not going to work for them because we're all different. We've got different ways of doing things. So the unspoken expectations, it's a silent killer of a relationship. So confusion over the roles is one of the most stressful aspects of marriages. Who does what? If the two of you do not discuss and agree upon who will do what, you will find this to be a major source of conflict, especially in the early months of marriage. I noticed with us, it took about 2 years of fighting because we didn't go through what is expected of who to do what. And, are we going to go to bed at 7? Are we going to go to bed at 10? Are we going to...
Are you a morning person or evening person in that case?
I read this thing,
and usually the morning person marries the evening person, and then it's just a disaster.
I read a thing and I finally figured out where I fit in, because I don't get up early and I don't like being up late. And so they were saying I'm not a early morning, I'm not a early bird or a night owl. I'm some kind of permanently exhausted pigeon. So
I like to say that I'm not a morning person or an evening person. I need enough sleep kind of person.
That's exactly. And my husband keeps, like, when we go to bed at like 11 o'clock, he'll be like, oh, but we're getting up at, 7. And then he counts on his fingers. He's like, yo, that's like 8 hours. That's more than enough. I'm like, I've told you, I'm not an 8-hour kind of person. I'm a 10-hour kind of person at a minimum to just function normally. But yes, it's important to know, where do these ideas come from? Whose role is whose? So it's important to know...
Gender stereotypes.
Yes, that. So your philosophy of maleness and femaleness greatly influences your expectation of marital?
Yes, marital.
Marital?
Yeah. Marital
yes. Roles. So what does a man do and what does a woman do in a marriage relationship?
In the movies, the husband is always the one taking out the trash. Turns out it doesn't work that way in my house.
In my house, it has to work that way because for a long season, I couldn't pick up stuff. So it wasn't really my choice. He had to take out the trash. But yes, the woman tends to look after the kids, cook the meals, stay at home to raise the kids,
clean the home,
the kids. And the man tends to go out, have a job, wear suit and tie, and come home. And that's not the case, but I mean, in movies, that's generally the roles that people take on.
Yeah, so that's big expectations.
So I think another thing that I found that was very important is, what did your mother do in the house and what did your father do in the house? Because that's where you will lean towards, oh, okay, well, he's supposed to do that. So like I said many, many moons ago, my husband is an act of service, is his love language. And the one day I said to him, well, you obviously just don't love me because you don't do anything for me. And he said, oh, well, don't you like it when you have a freshly mowed lawn to sit on? Don't you like it when you have a beautiful pool to swim in? Don't you appreciate those things? And then I realized I just assumed that was his job.
Yeah, you expected of him to keep the outside in order because it's expected of you to keep the inside in order. And because that was what was modeled to you.
Yeah, so my dad mowed the lawn. Both of my parents worked in the garden. On a Saturday, we would take them these big jugs of Oros and they would work in the garden together. But my dad mowed the lawn. My dad did the maintenance of the pool. So I just assumed that guys like doing that. That's what guys do. You expect your car. You see, I'm jumping ahead. You expect your husband to want to service your car. You expect him to.
That's a good one.
See, you expect him to check your oil and your tire pressure because cars are what guys do. That's just their passion in life. And it's not. Some guys don't like that. You expect if something gets broken in the house, the husband has to fix it.
Yes.
You expect him to hang the paintings. You expect him to do all these things because maybe that's what your dad did or didn't do. And he has the same expectations of you based on what his mother did.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to be a career woman, but his mother stayed home to raise the kids. And you've had your career. Now you decide you're going to have kids. And suddenly you're constantly fighting because he expects you to quit your job now and raise the kids.
Yeah.
These are things that need to be discussed beforehand in order to have a smoother relationship.
Yes,
not
to
smooth,
live in
smoother.
harmony.
The ER is always the key in relationships, and because nothing is smooth, nothing is easy, nothing is good. We can't go gooder, but it can be smoother and it can be easier.
Yes.
But
if you know these things and discuss them beforehand.
Exactly. So all we're trying to do is have you realize that the roles that his mother and father and the roles that your mother and father played could easily influence what you expect the other to do. And therefore, if not discussed, it can really become friction points in your marriage.
Mm-hmm. So we are having a quick music break and then we will finish it off.
Hi, and welcome back after the music break. We hope you enjoyed that one. You are tuned into Life FM, 100.6 FM in the Koch area and 98.1 FM in the Potch area, and you are currently listening to The Relationship Status.
Okay, so before the music break, we just basically said that your philosophy of maleness and femaleness greatly influences your expectations of marital roles. But other things that you can consider with regards to who does what is, what are each of you good at? Maybe in your case, your husband is a really great cook and he loves to cook, and you perhaps enjoy washing the dishes. I don't know if there are people out there who enjoy washing the dishes. I'm not one of them. But
I love washing the dishes as long as I have company.
Yeah, company does tend to make it better, but
yeah,
I still don't enjoy washing dishes. I would rather stand and iron the whole day.
I don't iron. I don't.
You see, a lot of people I have realized are like, I will wash dishes the whole day, but please don't make me iron. I'm like, what's so hard about ironing?
I think I burned one too many outfits.
Okay, but yeah, so back to the point is...
I burned my ironing board once. I didn't know that material was even burnable. I thought that's why they make that material, so that it doesn't burn.
Huh.
But anyway.
You learn something new every day. Okay, so one of you may know how to trim shrubbery and landscape the yard, and the other might not have a clue. One is a computer whiz, and the other simply only knows how to send an email.
How to unplug and plug in again if it doesn't work.
Yeah, so on a football team, all 11 players have the same objective. They all are there to win, but they don't all play the same role. The coach seeks to put the players in the position that he thinks they are the best equipped to execute. So yeah, have that discussion. What do you feel you're good at? What do you feel your husband or wife is good at, or your partner, whatever?
Yeah, what do you like?
And what do you enjoy doing? Yeah, the next one is is what we likes and dislikes. I
'cause sometimes
kind of go hand in hand though.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, let's say with the kids, I enjoy actually doing the things like more routine work. I love lying and reading stories or making up my own stories. I like doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas my husband likes the rough play, and both of it is important. So I do sometimes rough play and he does sometimes read stories. But in general, he runs around the house, plays with the kids, makes them tired, and then he gives them to me and I read them a story and put them to bed.
See, teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So then that brings us to the last one, is the likes and dislikes. So the fourth factor in finding agreement about who will do what is the simple fact that each of you has likes and dislikes. Maybe the husband might enjoy budgeting and keeping track of finances, whereas the wife, it just gives her a headache. So both of you have unique skills that you can add to the marriage and to improve the relationship and to make your whole dynamic easier. So you just need to find out what that is. What are each of you bringing to the table and how you're going to make it work? I think it's always important just to remember that you are on the same page. You are moving towards the same goal of living together in harmony and bringing out the best in each other and not the worst. So as long as you can have that in mind.
If there's true love, then you really want to help each other. And that brings me to the point, while we're talking about this, it's just coming up, there will be things that has to be done that both of you will dislike. So if both
like
of
cleaning
you,
the toilet.
like that. So let's say both of you don't like cleaning the toilet, then how about I clean my toilet and you clean your toilet? Or if there's one toilet in the house, how about every time I use it, I clean it, and every time you use it, you clean it?
Compromise.
Compromise. So there will be things, and that's where it's important to make a list of things that you like and that you'll accept you want to do, and things that he likes and he'll accept he wants to do. And then there'll be things that end up on a list that everyone would rather burn than do, but you have to do it. And that's where I think you either make turns or you compromise and say, okay, there's 10 things on these lists we both hate. I'm willing to compromise and take those 5 if you take those 5. Or you alternate, and like kids at school make a little chore wheel or something like that.
Yeah, and it's not about like making whole lists for everything. Sometimes you're going to think that you are prepared, and then you're going to be quite surprised that you didn't think about this or that you didn't foresee that.
Like, oh my goodness, it turns out basins aren't self-cleaning either.
But wait, there's more. So yeah, if you just keep that in mind and are willing to be adaptable, I think that will go well.
Yeah. And here's a little practical exercise that I enjoyed that Dr. Chapman gave. Okay, so now I want to give you a practical exercise that will help you decide not only who will clean the toilet, but who will do all the other things that are necessary. Yeah. Or, for those of you that don't know that, rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, yes, of course.
It's funny how we just all assume everyone knows that until you say that and someone's like, what are you talking about? And seeing as you can't see our hand, this is one word that thank you. I'd never know if it's gestures or gestures. I don't know why that one trips me up. But seeing as you can't see our hand gestures, yes, you might not know what Ching Chong Cha is. So if you are seriously contemplating marriage, make a list of all the things that come to mind that will have to be done in order to maintain a household. Once again, if you're already in the marriage, this is still great advice. Be sure to include your vehicles, who will purchase and prepare the food, who will do the laundry and vacuum the floors. Ask your fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, to make a similar list. Then bring the 2 lists together and make a master list that includes everything the 2 of you listed. Make 2 copies of this list and individually and separately sit down with a list and put your initials beside those items that you think you will be responsible for. If you think it will be shared responsibility, put both your initials, but underline the one that you think will have the primary responsibility. Once you have completed the task, set aside an evening to work through your answers. How about with wine and cheese and crackers? And see where you have agreed or disagreed on who will have primary responsibility on each item. When you have disagreements, it calls for negotiation. Share with each other your reasons for the choice you made. And I think this is important because, like, let's say, for example, feeding the dogs. I struggle to feed the dogs because I can't pick up heavy things, and so I can't pick up the 50 kilogram bag of dog food and throw it into the feeder. It takes me hours to sit with a little scoop and scoop for scoop throw it in for the dogs. So there I would say this is your responsibility. I would appreciate it if you would take this responsibility. The reason is I can't pick up the heavy bag. And then you'll say, oh, of course, I can understand that. For me, sweeping and mopping, it used to give me migraines. I have gotten very far in my healing, and I'm very grateful to God that I stepped on my headphones, sorry. I hope that didn't make a noise. So I have gotten very far in my healing, and I'm very grateful for that. And but there was a time where I couldn't mop and sweep. It gave me migraines. So I would have to say to my husband, obviously if there's a little spill here or there, especially if I made it, I can handle that, but I cannot sweep or mop the entire house. It puts too much strain on my neck and shoulders and gives me migraine. So I think it's important that we give reasoning for why I expect you to do something that I'm expecting you to do. It's very important that you be as open and as honest as you can about what brought you to that conclusion. Then after listening to each other empathetically, then seeking to make an agreement on who will accept the responsibility. If you can't agree before marriage, what makes you think you will agree after marriage? So I think that it's very important.
Good point.
Like we said before, when you're in love, you are much more flexible. You are happy to compromise. You are happy to do things. So I think that it's important to have these discussions while you're in love. But that's where you choose later in life, even if you don't feel like doing this for someone, you choose that you're going to work on your marriage and you're going to choose that you're going to bring your side. So completing this assignment does not mean that you are locked into those responsibilities for the rest of your life. If after 6 months of marriage, you want to renegotiate some of these things, you can. You can say to him, it turns out I really struggle with this. It turns out I have way too much on my plate. Because remember, in the beginning, these are things that are going to be a problem. Then later on, kids come into play. Now you are up all night with a newborn baby and you really just don't have the energy to wake up in the morning and pack a lunch for your other child that's going to school. So your husband can step in for that season and make lunch for the other child, even though you agreed that you would be the one cooking food and packing lunches. And maybe there's a season with a newborn baby that you can't pack his lunch, which you agreed you would be doing.
Yeah, it's all about give and take.
Yes.
And I think it's just in conclusion also to remember that marriage really isn't I give half of me and you give half of you and then together we make 100. Both need to give 100%. And there are going to be seasons, like you just said, where I only have 80% to give or 40% to give. And then you have to, you meet me where I am at and you give the 60 or the 40 or 20 or whatever it is. And because life isn't perfect. You get curveballs thrown at you, but just as long as you can always remember that you are in it together, in it to win it together.
Yes, and the thing is, like we're saying, if you've only got 40% to give, you still give your whole 40%.
Yes.
So you don't just be like, well, I'm slacking down, I'm giving 20 because he has to just give 80. So if something happened, like let's say, for example, you have a newborn baby, you might only have 10% to give today. And that's where he steps up and gives 90. Another day he has a bad day at work, he's only got 5% to give and you got to step up with 95. Yeah. So I think that it's just very important that if you are not in a marriage, these things are vital. In a relationship, you have to discuss these things. If you're already married, a lot of these things can be sources of conflict, and you can realize now that these unspoken expectations has put a lot of strain on your relationship. Then it's time to sit down and go through them and start working through them. So I think it's important that you talk about the following things in conclusion. If you grew up with your father, what responsibility did he accept in the family? What responsibility did your mother accept in the family? If you are seriously considering marriage, complete the assignment that we discussed now, the making a list. So if you are serious about this person, make a list of what you think all the responsibilities in the house are and who should do what, and sit together and see if your lists come together. And the points where they don't come together, I strongly urge you to negotiate it now while there is still room for movement. When you are 20 years down the line and this thing has really gotten up to the point where you will no longer compromise on it because it's irritated you that much, it's just so much more difficult to move on. So that is our very interesting chapter of toilets are not self-cleaning.
Until next week.